now I feel like we're starting to it's starting to take shape what the league is going to look like by the end of the season. And I'm talking about in terms of standings. And I really like what Atletico have done in the last two games, Manchester United and the last game against Celta. And I think now all of a sudden we have Betis is the one that's really in trouble, because all of a sudden if Barca and Atletico have woken up, and I think I chalk up Atletico's maybe uptick in the last two games in terms of performance. Obviously they didn't beat Manchester United, but they might as well have. That was a complete domination. But I chalk it up to Simeone has made some interesting tactical tweaks in that this like 4-4-2. The 4-4-2 is not new under him necessarily. You know, he's gone back with gone to three at the back and different formations. Obviously, the 4-4-2 is something that's been a staple from in his toolbox in his arsenal for many years. But the 4-4-2 he has now, because one of the things that I was worried about when Trippier left was that would Marcos Llorente just be pinned as the right back forever after Was's injury, and it turns out with Versailles at the right back position, Llorente on the right wing. Then you have Renan Lodi, who's now taking the left wing. He's been kind of switched positions here. You have Carrasco, who can come off the bench. João Felix is playing well. Griezmann is a nice weapon to have off the bench as well. Kondogbio's in machine mode. Herrera's been a nice compliment to him as well. They found something there. And so that's good news. Normally, I would say as a Madridista looking at that, I'd be like, well, that's good because now maybe Barca can steamroll their way into fourth place. But of course, now they're fourth, tied on points with Atletico. What's separating them is it goal differential or is it head-to-head? I always forget what the rule on that is. Either way.
Between Atletico and Barca?
Yeah. Is it head-to-head?
Well, first we have one game less, and then, of course, there's the head-to-head,
right,
which we have the upper hand in that sense.
Yeah. So if you guys win your game in hand, which at this point it seems like you're going to win every game forever, and it's all over for Real Madrid fans. Basically, after this league,
correct,
after we finish this league season, whether it's us who wins the title or Sevilla, I don't know. But let's say whatever happens, now Barcelona are dominating football for the next 25 years until Xavi retires. So now that we know that, we have that factual information, you're going to win that game in hand. So that puts you on 48 points. That actually puts you in third place and 6 points behind Sevilla. What did I say? Yeah, third place.
No.
Yeah. So I would say, and given that way that Atletico are playing now, would you agree or disagree that Real Betis are the ones that are in trouble right now of losing that top 4 position?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. I think as well the fact that, of course, they managed to qualify for the next round as well, in the round of 16s in the Europa League, and we'll have a tough match to face there as well. That serves the interests and the purposes of Barca to, I guess, tire out the opponents that are ahead of them in the league standings, which Betis still is at this point. But just by sheer point differential, looking at Sevilla and obviously Real Madrid, it's un escalón por encima, right? It's a level up. With Atletico hitting their stride and facing this final stage of the season, also with in good form, let's say. And with Betis, perhaps they're losing that derby, and with Barca nipping at their heels as well as Atletico, you would have to, put them into the, I guess the team that would walk the plank the first and probably fall from that position. But I don't want to take anything away from Manuel Pellegrini neither. He's had a formidable season. They're playing good football. I think that they were outclassed and certainly dominated in the Sevilla derby, but they had their chances as well, and to at least get a point out of this game. I think it could have been a game that could have finished 2-2 had the Betis players taken their chances, and we would be whistling perhaps a different tune at this point. So I don't want to write them off, discard them for a place in the Champions League spots, but the way you put it, given the momentum of the teams that are, again, nipping at their heels in the likes of Atleti and Barca, you'd have to, I guess put them into that group that would probably drop off out of the top 4. from all of those. But that issue now would be that's quite obvious, right? We're not saying anything groundbreaking here.
No, it's not groundbreaking, but I would say I feel like it's more cemented in my brain, at least now, in the last 2 weeks. Maybe partly because it just seems like, and again, football changes, so this could be irrelevant next week. But from what I've seen from Atletico in the last couple games, I really like the changes they've made, and I feel like they found something that can sustain it for the rest of the season. And also, and also just that Real Betis don't have, unfortunately, maybe the resources and the depth that some of these other teams have in the top four.
Right.
And even Sevilla, listen, very proud of Sevilla. Fantastic that they've lasted this long in the season. And I hope they go down to the wire for the sake of the league. Not as a Real Madrid fan, but just from a football fan. I'm really happy that they're playing at this level. They have this kind of rhythm. They have this familiarity now under Lopetegui that it's like clockwork. They know what they're doing. They know what their identity is, and they can plug and play, and it's looking really good. And this kind of goes back to also, like, we can talk. This ties into the other results this weekend, because you look at Yeremy Pino, who had a lights out game over the weekend, and I just really hope that, or maybe it's a wish. I wish that teams like Sevilla, like Villarreal, could just hold on to their players. Like, don't you just kind of wish that Yeremy Pino will forever be like a Villarreal player? You know what I mean? But it just seems like an impossible projection. You think? But he's just like, you just assume that he's just going to be picked off by a bigger team or something at some point.
By an English team, right?
Yeah, probably.
Possibly. But just before we advance to the other games, what is it about Atletico that has you so convinced that they have now turned the page from that horrible slump that they've been in for quite a long time? I didn't see the entire Atletico Celta game. I saw enough of it for me to sort of take out that, you know what, Celta wasn't all that bad in this game. And Celta, in fact, had a lot of their own chances that maybe on another day, given the season that Oblak has had, they would have gone into the back of the net. And again, instead of 2-0, it ended on a night. It could have ended in a 1-1, perhaps. Lodi's goal also was, it was a cracking goal. It was from a near impossible angle, that one. And so, yeah, I was just curious to know exactly what it is that has you so convinced that this Atletico has now turned the page and will continue to climb up.
Well, I'll answer the first part first about Celta and Atletico in that game. Celta had a lot of moments where they were able to get in the box, but Atletico blocked off everything. Oblak had 2 saves in this game from all those shots. One of them was from a corner kick that ended up like outside the box, and Franco Cervi took a shot way out of the box, and it was tamely hit at him. And then the second save came in the 92nd minute, Javi Galvan at the far post. Everything else was just classic Atletico, just swarming, putting numbers in the box on defense and blocking shots, and basically making sure Oblak doesn't even have to do anything in this game. That's one thing. The other thing is, sometimes you just feel like you can't really explain or really quite say, but there's a before and after point sometimes, and I feel like Atletico may have hit that this season, where Manchester United was exactly what they needed at that time. It's, you go in, you're struggling all season. You have a lot of great players on paper who in this team should be better than it is. Manchester United seemed like it was like the perfect thing that they needed. It was like a team that's wounded themselves. They have a bunch of tactical issues, but big enough on paper where Atletico went in, they were like hyped up about it, and they bullied them on the field, and they played really well. And again, despite them conceding a goal basically on one chance and dominating the rest of the game, which hopefully doesn't come back to bite them for their sake. But I feel like there's I mentioned some of the tactical things, but I think one of the huge things is that they have really good production from the wings right now, and they even have depth. So if Marcos Llorente, think of like the backups, so like Marcos Llorente and Lodi on the other side, they have Yannick Carrasco, they have Antoine Griezmann who can come off the bench, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's pretty valuable. And they finally figured out maybe, hey, we don't need Luis Suarez at this point of his career because he doesn't make any sense for the way we play. He kills our transition attacks. He's way too slow. He's not the Luis Suarez he used to be. He's not even the Luis Suarez he was when that first year when they signed him, they won the league title. And I feel like maybe they're starting to figure things out now. And again, this could maybe football can change next week. But I just feel like they have the recipe now to salvage the season. I'm not too. The interesting thing is when you look at sixth place, Villarreal, 3 points back of Atleti for fifth place, and the interesting thing about them is that they are another team that should be. Now, I won't say that they should be ahead of sixth place because when you look at the 5 teams above them, all 5 of those teams deserve to be where they are. I won't say that. But I will say Villarreal is a team that seems to be slowly waking up as well. Another team that was better against Juve in the first leg. And a team that hasn't always had everyone healthy. Gerard Moreno hasn't been healthy. You feel like they'll be challenging for something, for 5th, 4th, whatever. And so this is a really fun league race because if you look from 3 to even 7, if you want to include Real Sociedad, I personally feel like they are way too hot and cold, and mostly cold this season to really make a reasonable push for that that 6th spot. But I feel like 3 to 6 is really interesting, and then 1 and 2 together are really interesting. So I feel like this is a really interesting league season, and by the end of it, we should go down to wire for a few different positions here.